Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday before winter break. We are very quickly going to walk through how to join a Google Meet just in case we end up in a remote learning environment. So the first thing that we want to do is we are going to go to our LMS. That is either Schoology or Google Classroom, depending on what your teacher uses. For this example, I'm going to use Schoology, but if your teacher uses Google Classroom, please ask them for more assistance. So what we're going to do is jump right into the class where we would like to join the Google Meet. So let's say it's time for Spanish 4 class, we're in a remote environment, I'm going to fire up Schoology, go into that class, and then what I'm going to do is look for the link at the very top of my materials page, which says something similar or identical to this. Click here to access our Google Meet. When I click that, a new tab should open. My webcam will take just a second to fire up. There it is. And I can now see myself. I can toggle mute by clicking the microphone icon. I could even turn my webcam off by toggling that icon if I wanted to. And I can adjust my virtual background. So what I'm going to do is click this button at the bottom right. It says change background if I hover over it. And when you do that, you will see a bunch of different options appear. So I can blur my background slightly, I can blur it even more dramatically, or I can pick one of these fun backgrounds and just kind of play around with it. Now, if you do not have these options, that means that your Chrome browser is out of date. You should see a little notification at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen that says you have an update pending. If not, please see me or Mr. Gelder and we'll get you taken care of. So now that I have all of my settings configured appropriately, I can go ahead and join the Meet, and there I am. So I can close out of that message if I get that, and I want to just walk us through a few of the features in Google Meet that will help make our learning experience a little bit more fluid. So the first one is to just make sure that you are muted. When we join a big room virtually, we want to make sure we're muted so we don't get this cacophony of sound. Then if I want to actually turn off or on my webcam, I can toggle that by using the webcam icon below, as you can see right there. And then if I want to actually raise my hand, I have a couple different options. So the first option is to simply use this raise hand button at the bottom right, and pretty straightforwardly it says raise hand. If I tap that, I'll hear a notification sound, and so will my teacher, and they can call on me, and when my teacher calls on me and I no longer need my hand raised, I can click it one more time to lower my hand. Alternatively, if you would like to raise your hand using a different system, if you have the Nod extension installed, what you can do is click the little icon, the emoji guy, which has its hand raised, and you can now see in the bottom left that my hand has been raised. What's really cool about this extension is it gives you thumbs up, thumbs down, clapping, and a few more emoji reactions. So the chat is up in the top right corner. It's represented by this little chat icon, this speech bubble. So if I click this, I'm now taken to a chat window where I can enter any message that I want to. I can hit enter or return on my Chromebook to hit send, or I can use the paper airplane icon to the right to send that. Next, we have a really easy to miss menu, but this menu is very important, and that is the menu with the 3 vertical dots at the bottom right corner. If you click that, you have a bunch of different options. So you can change your background, just like we did on the front page. Again, you can blur your background, you can create a virtual background, you can change your virtual background, you can X out there. And if we go back to that menu, you can do a bunch of different things here. So let's say you're maybe in a loud environment or you're hard of hearing, you can actually turn on captions, and that will start captioning whatever the speaker is saying. So if I unmute my mic, you should be able to see captions start coming through at the bottom, and there they are. It's really quite accurate, which is amazing. The next feature that you may need to adjust is the settings. So if I go to settings, I can change what microphone I'm using and what camera I'm using. If you're using a Chromebook, you should be able to keep these as default, no problem, but if you are using a different device and you need to change the webcam or speakers or microphone that you're using, you can adjust that there. Okay, so as you can see, I have a couple more guests in my Google Meet now, and let's say I'm the teacher and I want to put my students into breakout rooms. So here's what will happen from your point of view as the student. So if I go ahead and open the breakout room as the teacher, you as the student will now notice that there is a little box that says join a breakout room. when you click join, we are now in a breakout room with just Karen and Crash, and they are able to chat privately amongst themselves about a specific topic that they were probably assigned by their teacher. Now, I am working as Karen right now, and I am ready to go back to the main call. So what I can do is return to the main call. Now, your teacher can always summon you back if they need to as well, so that you are brought back at a specific time, but if you want to come back early, you can do so as well. The final feature I'd like to cover this morning with you is that of questions and answers. So let's say that your teacher opens up the floor so that you can ask any question to your teacher and the rest of your classmates using the Q&A feature. This is something your teacher will have to activate on their end, and when you click it, you can pose a question by clicking the Ask a Question button at the bottom right. So once I do that, what is the square root of 144? I can post that to my teacher. Let's say I want to ask them, and they can reply to me. So if I were Karen and I were asking my teacher or anyone in my class, what is the square root of 144? The teacher could then chime in and say, hey, it's 12. So that about wraps up the basics with Google Meet. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to see Mr. Gelder or myself, or you can send me an email at btaylor@candorcs.org. Take care, stay well, and I hope you have a fantastic break.